What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video on the channel, where today's video we're doing the ultimate AI Pokemon tournament. Now I have gathered 8 different AI programs to compete in today's tournament. Some we've seen before and some completely new. And these AI programs are going to compete in a single elimination tournament to determine who is the best AI program when it comes to Pokemon battling. Now if you want to see more of this kind of content, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. It would mean a lot to me, and it shows me that you guys do like the content and want to see more, and it's completely free and you can always change your mind later. And without further ado, let's get into the tournament. Now, first things first, we have to go over the rules of the tournament. All 8 AI programs are going to draft their teams in a Serpentine Draft. Every time that they pick a Pokemon, they are allowed to determine what moves that Pokemon's going to have, the held item of that Pokemon, even the EVs and IVs of the Pokemon, the nature, and also the ability of the Pokemon, as well as if they want the Pokemon to be shiny or not shiny. Now, here is the format for the tournament, and without further ado, let's get into meeting our contestants. In today's ultimate AI Pokemon tournament, we will have ChatGPT, Claude, DeepSeek, Gemini, Grok, Meta, Quen, and Snapchat all competing in today's video. Now it's time to decide the draft order. We will be randomizing the draft order, and let's see where these teams landed. For the draft, we have Grok, then Meta, Quen, then Snapchat, Gemini, then Claude, DeepSeek, then ChatGPT, and then the next round, it is all reversed. So after drafting their Pokemon, here is the results of the draft. Now, after drafting their Pokemon, they have all determined their movesets, abilities, natures, held items, EVs and IVs, and as well as seeing what Pokemon they want shiny on their team. Now it's time to decide the first round matchups of the tournament. We will be kicking it off in round 1 with ChatGPT versus DeepSeek, and then moving on to Grok versus Claude, and then we will have Gemini versus Meta, and then Snapchat versus Quen. Now it's time to go to the first matchup of the tournament between ChatGPT and DeepSeek to see who will be punching their ticket into the semifinals of the tournament. Here we are with the first battle of the ultimate AI Pokemon tournament. We got ChatGPT going up against DeepSeek here. Let's see who these AI programs decide to lead with. We got ChatGPT with Mamoswine and Ludicolo, and then Gengar and Milotic for DeepSeek. Starting out here, we got Ludicolo going with the fake out, but ChatGPT went for the fake out into a ghost type, already blundering here. Icy Wind comes out from Gengar here. Mamoswine and Ludicolo are gonna lose speed on this turn here. That's big for DeepSeek. Mamoswine uses Rock Slide. It's gonna miss Gengar, which would have been huge because Gengar's not physically defensive. Milotic's not very physically defensive as well, but takes that hit pretty good here. Milotic's gonna rock an Ice Beam into Mamoswine. Can it maybe get a freeze? We're down to 50% on Mamoswine. Does not get the freeze, and HP comes back for Milotic. Mamoswine gets priority here in turn 2 with Ice Shard onto Gengar. Does a good amount of damage there. Gengar's gonna rock a Shadow Ball here onto Mamoswine. Can it get the kill? It gets the kill! Huge start from DeepSeek as they look to upset ChatGPT, who is 4-1 currently on the channel. Milotic uses Recover, goes back to full HP, but let's see what Ludicolo does. It's going to hit an Ice Beam onto Gengar here. Can it crit? It doesn't, but it gets the kill! Huge kill! And now we're back to 5v5 on even ground here. Ludicolo's Life Orb makes it lose some damage. DeepSeek's going to send out Electivire, one of their shinies here. And ChatGPT is going to send out one of theirs as well in Scizor. Here we go. Ludicolo's going to get swapped out, dancing its way back into the ball. And here comes out Hariyama for ChatGPT, the big boy. And the big boy is going to take a Thunder Punch right to the stomach. Does a lot of damage there, actually. Stomping his way back in position here. Milotic's gonna rock an Ice Beam here onto Scizor. Not very effective. Will it get the freeze though? Let's see. No freeze. Bug Bite comes out here from Scizor. Probably gonna do a good amount of damage. Let's see. Does about over half health. Huge hit there from Scizor onto Milotic. Milotic regains some health though. Hariyama's Flame Orb is gonna activate. Here we go. Electivire starting this turn off for us with a Cross Chop onto Hariyama. Let's see. Does a good amount of damage. We'll have to see how much burn does to Hariyama after that. Milotic gonna rock a recover here. Probably gonna go back to full. It does get it back to full health. Scizor gonna hit another Bug Bite. It needs a crit or something big here. Let's see. It's gonna do the same amount of damage this turn. A lot of damage though for sure. Hariyama's gonna rock a close combat. Fun fact, ChatGPT gave this thing a Flame Orb, but gave it Thick Fat instead of Guts. So, definitely a blunder there. Milotic gets some HP back with leftovers, and Hariyama is gonna go down to the burn. An insane blunder from the king of the channel. ChatGPT's bringing back my man Ludicolo. Starting off the turn here, we got Scizor using Bullet Punch onto Electivire. Not very effective, does not get the kill. Electivire is going to use Thunder Punch now onto Ludicolo. Let's see how much damage it does. It does a good amount of damage there. Got to fix his hat a little bit. Gets the para! Wow! Deep Seek is getting extremely lucky right now. Milotic gets some health back with Recover. Here comes a Grass Knot from Ludicolo. Life Orb boosted. Gives a good amount of damage. Not going to get the KO though. And it's going to lose some health from the Life Orb. Milotic gets some health back. Here we go. Scizor's going to start with another priority Bullet Punch. This should get the KO, and it does. Down goes Electivire, and we are on even ground once again in a 4v4. Let's see now. Milotic going to get its HP back once again with Recover. Almost back to full health. And Ludicolo is paralyzed. It doesn't move. And Milotic is now back to full health. Deep Seek has decided to send in Magnezone. Here we go. Milotic moves first with an Ice Beam onto Scizor here. It's going to be not very effective. Will it get the freeze though? It does not. Scizor is going to use Bug Bite into Milotic here. We already know this does a good amount of damage. Over half for sure. Let's see. We got Magnezone using Thunderbolt here onto Ludicolo, and it gets the kill. Oh no, Ludicolo's dancing to his doom and back into the ball here. And Milotic gets some HP back with leftovers. ChatGPT sending in Kingdra here, one of their shinies. Here we go. Kingdra starting this turn off with a Surf. It's going to hit everybody. Bang! Does a lot of damage to Scizor. Not good there. And let's see, it's going to hit Magnezone. Bang! And it does a good amount actually to Magnezone right there. Milotic is going to use Recover once again and almost get the full HP right there. Scizor going in with the Bug Bite though, needs a crit. Crit kills here. Can it get it though? It does not get it. Still does a lot of damage like always though. Here we go now. Magnezone going to rip a Thunderbolt right into Kingdra. It's a crit! And down goes Kingdra! Deep Sea might actually pull off the upset. Oh my goodness. Milotic gets some health back here. And with only one Mon remaining, ChatGPT has to bring in Clefable. Here we go. Clefable is going to start off with Follow Me on this turn. They can only attack Clefable now on this turn. Milotic not attacking though. Going to go for another Recover. Just spamming them in this battle. And Scizor's going for a it just needs a crit. It needs to crit or else this might be all over. Probably not going to be enough. Magnezone comes out with a Thunderbolt. It's going to hit Clefable though. Does a good amount of damage. Milotic gets some HP back. And so does Clefable. Here we go to start the turn. Clefable is going to use Follow Me once again. So now they can only target Clefable on this turn. Milotic's going to rip an Ice Beam right into Clefable. Let's see how much this does. Doesn't do a lot at all. Doesn't get the freeze either. Bug Bite coming out once again from Scizor. This should take out Milotic. And it does! Huge kill from ChatGPT. And now DeepSeek is down to 3 Pokemon. We'll have to see who they send in to replace Milotic here as Milotic goes back to DeepSeek. Magnezone ripping a Thunderbolt. This one's also going to go into Clefable. Almost gets the kill. And Clefable gets some health back with leftovers. DeepSeek is opting to send in Tangrowth, the tank. Here we go. Clefable using Follow Me for the 3rd turn in a row. So if DeepSeek attacks here, Clefable's for sure going to go down this turn. Bug Bite comes out from Scizor. Let's see how much this does. It's super effective. Does about half damage. Huge hit there from Scizor. And it eats their Aqua Berry as well. Thunderbolt comes out from Magnezone. Gets the kill on the Clefable here. And now ChatGPT is in a 1v3 with Scizor. Tangrowth going to use Power Whip onto Scizor. Not very effective. Does a sliver of damage. Here we go. Scisor's going to go first this turn with Bug Bite on the Tangrowth. This should take down Tangrowth here. Let's see. And it does. It gets the kill. But will it be enough? As Magnezone still has to move this turn. Tangrowth back to the ball. Magnezone rips a Thunderbolt. It's gonna land and it's gonna kill. DeepSeek pulls off the unexpected upset. And ChatGPT has been defeated in round number 1. Oh my goodness, dude. Insane. GG's. And after an intense first matchup of the tournament, DeepSeek pulls off the upset and takes out the clear front runners of the whole entire tournament. ChatGPT goes down in the first round as DeepSeek takes it with 2 Pokemon remaining. Now it's time to move on to matchup number 2 of the first round between Grok and Claude to see who will be battling DeepSeek in the semifinals. Here we are at the Waterfall Coliseum for our battle between Grok and Claude. Winner will face DeepSeek in round 2 of the Ultimate AI Pokemon Tournament. Here goes Grok, here goes Claude, and here's who they are starting with today. Again, Intimidate coming out from Salamence onto Infernape and Gyarados, but another Intimidate as well from Gyarados onto Weavile and Salamence here. And Weavile is going to be exerting its pressure. Here we go. Starting off, we got Weavile using Fake Out on Infernape. It's going to get the flinch here, which means Infernape's not going to get off its own Fake Out. As you can see, it's going to flinch and not be able to move this turn. Salamence going to rip an Earthquake, which is going to go right into Infernape. And Weavile does a ton of damage on Infernape there. Not going to affect Gyarados though. Salamence loses some HP from its Life Orb. And a Waterfall comes out from Gyarados onto Salamence. Not a ton of damage though. Here we go. Grok starting off here with Weavile. An Ice Shard here on the Infernape. Not very effective. Not even going to get the kill here. But let's see. Salamence outspeeds Infernape and is going to secure the kill. So Infernape not going to get out its U-turn and switch in Bronzong. We'll see if Claude still wants to send in Bronzong though after Infernape goes down here. Salamence loses more health from its Life Orb, and Gyarados gonna rock a Waterfall here on a Weavile. It's gonna do a ton of damage but not get the kill. Claude will indeed be bringing in Bronzong still. Let's see what it can do. Here we go. Weavile going first as always. Night Slashing onto Gyarados here. Does a good chunk of damage for sure. Salamence setting up though with a Dragon Dance. Gonna get back to neutral attack, but its speed is gonna be up 1 stage now. Gyarados using Waterfall on the Weavile here, and that is going to get the KO. And let's see here, so down goes Weavile. Who will Grok send in to replace Weavile? That is the question right now. Let's see though. Bronzong setting up a Trick Room now. That's going to be huge, so that speed boost from Salamence does not matter anymore. Grok has decided to send in Lucario. Shiny. Here we go. Claude starting off with switching Bronzong out, and they're going to be sending in Machamp. Now we have Lucario using the extreme speed. It has priority even in Trick Room. Right on a Machamp. Does a good chunk of damage onto it. Gyarados going next with a Waterfall onto Salamence. Not very effective. Does a decent amount of damage. And Salamence is going to rip a Dragon Claw here into Machamp. And it does a ton of damage there. Going to lose some HP with the Life Orb though. Here we go. Grok goes first with an extreme speed from Lucario, and it gets the kill. Huge kill from Grok. Takes back the lead at 5-4 here. Machamp gets sent back to Claude there. Gyarados gonna rock another Waterfall onto Salamence. Still not very effective though. And now Salamence is going to be able to rip a Dragon Claw into Gyarados. Now that Machamp is down. Does a ton of damage. And it's going to be hurt by its Life Orb again. Claude is going to respond by sending in Cloyster. Claude is going to start this turn by switching out Gyarados and sending back in Bronzong. Next up we have Lucario. Going to go for an extreme speed here onto Bronzong. Going to do no damage pretty much. Next up, we're going to see Cloyster hit an Icicle Spear onto Salamence. 4 times effective. Surely gets the KO. And finally, Salamence goes down. It is done for the battle here. Back to Grok. Grok has decided to send in Blah! Here we go. Grok going to start the turn off with another extreme speed from Lucario onto Bronzong. Still doesn't do a whole lot of damage right there. Next, we are going to see Bronzong use a Gyro Ball here onto Lucario. Not very effective. Does a good chunk of damage, though. Icicle Spear from Cloyster onto Heracross. Let's see how many times it hits. 4 times. 5 times. Does a good amount of damage, too. Let's see what Blah's got cooking up. It's a close combat here onto Bronzong. Let's see how much damage this does. It does a good amount of damage there. Heracross is going to go down a stage in its defense and special defense, however. So there it goes. It is going to boost its Toxic Orb, which is going to help its Guts ability, and the dimensions return to normal. Here we go, Lucario, another extreme speed on the Bronzong again. Still not going to do a lot of damage once again. Next up, we got a close combat coming out from Blah, this time on the Cloyster with Guts activated, and it's gonna take it out. It's a one-shot, and down goes Cloyster. Heracross's defense and special defense go down another stage, however. And let's see, Bronzong's gonna use Trick Room once again, so dimensions do get twisted. Heracross loses some HP from poison. Claude is opting to send in Gastrodon because Trick Room is up now. Here we go, Lucario using extreme speed once again. Still not going to do enough damage to Bronzong here. Next up, we got Bronzong ripping a Gyro Ball again into Lucario. Not very effective, but does a good amount of damage. Earth Power from Gastrodon onto Blah, and it gets the kill! Huge kill. I did not think that was going to get Heracross, but wow. Gastrodon loses some HP. Rock has decided to send in Swampert. Here we go. Lucario going first once again with extreme speed. Who would have guessed it? Still not enough to get the KO, though. Bronzong going to rip a Gyro Ball, this time into Swampert now. Still not very effective. Does a teeny bit of damage there. Now we're going to see Gastrodon ripping Earth Power into Lucario. Surely going to get the kill, and it does. Lucario finally goes down for Grok, and then Swampert here, after Gastrodon gets hurt by its Life Orb, is going to rip an Earthquake, which is only going to hit Gastrodon here. And let's see how much it's going to do. Let's see. Bang! And it does a decent amount of damage, maybe 25%. And then Swampert's leftovers gets its HP back. And with one final Pokemon, Grok has to send in Blaziken. And here we go. Claw starting it off by switching Bronzong out for Gyarados here. So an Intimidate's gonna come out here from Gyarados and lower Swampert and Blaziken's attack by 1. This is a huge move from Claude here, as Grok is down to only 2 Pokemon. Gastrodon rips an Earth Power into Blaziken. Super effective. It's a one-shot! Down goes Blaziken, couldn't even get one move off. Are you kidding me? Gastrodon loses some HP from its life orb. An Earthquake comes out from Swampert here. It's going to hit Gastrodon, won't kill. And then it's not even going to affect Gyarados. Here we go. Claude's going to start it off with a Surf from Gastrodon. Now this is going to hit both Swampert and Gyarados. And it's going to take out Gyarados. What is Claude doing? It does a good amount of damage to Swampert though, because it is neutral, because Swampert is a ground type. Gastrodon loses some HP there, and Earthquake's gonna come out, and it's gonna land and take down Gastrodon. Claude blunders in the worst turn possible. Oh my goodness, no! Swampert regains some HP with leftovers. And Bronzong is the final mon for Claude here. So Claude actually ends up getting a free turn here as Grok forgets that Bronzong has Levitate. I've told it before too. Trick Room comes up from Bronzong though, and the dimensions have been twisted, but Swampert gets some HP here. And with one final move, Claude's gonna use a Gyro Ball on the Swampert. We already know this does only a sliver of damage, and Claude absolutely blundered any chance with that Surf from Gastrodon, as a Waterfall is gonna take out Bronzong, and Grok is barely gonna sneak by in the first round here. A completely cinematic battle here between the two, and Grok is gonna be battling Deep Seek in the second round of the tournament, and the winner of that will be going on to the Grand Finals. After another thrilling battle, we will be seeing Grok move on. After they went down to one Pokemon apiece, Grok barely pulls away from Claude, and will be battling Deep Seek in the semis to determine who will be making the Grand Finals of the Ultimate Pokemon AI Tournament. Now let's move on to matchup number 3 between Google Gemini and Meta AI. Here we are in our third matchup of round 1 in the Neon Coliseum. We have Google Gemini going up against newcomer Meta here. Here are their leads for today's battle. Intimidate comes out here from Hitmontop. Here we go to start it off. Gemini's Togekiss gonna go for a Follow Me. So now Meta can only target Togekiss this turn. Hitmontop gets the priority fake out here onto Togekiss. So great move there from Gemini to lead the fake onto Togekiss that was originally going to go into Smeargle. Here comes the Rock Slide though from Garchomp, which will hit both opponents. Does more to Smeargle than the Togekiss, even though it was super effective on Togekiss. Dark Void from Smeargle is going to land onto Garchomp here and put Garchomp to sleep. It is going to miss Hitmontop though. Here we go, turn number 2. Togekiss goes for another Follow Me here. We've seen the Follow Me spam before from Togekiss in a previous battle. Garchomp still asleep. Dark Void is not going to affect Garchomp, but it is going to land onto Hitmontop. This is huge here for Gemini. Exactly what they wanted after picking Smeargle second in the draft. You're going to see a lot of switches this turn as Meta is swapping out Garchomp here and is going to send in its other pseudo in Dragonite. And then here goes Smeargle swapping out for Gemini. And here we are going to see Slowking come into the battle. And another swap here as Meta takes back Hitmontop and is going to send in Porygon 2 here. And that means the only attack is going to come from Togekiss. Air Slash onto Porygon 2 does a decent amount of damage. Not a lot though. Here we go, Togekiss ripping a Follow Me here. It's third one of the battle already. And now we're going to see attacks come out from Dragonite here. Dragon Claw onto Togekiss. Let's see just how much damage it does. Does a really good amount of damage there, maybe like a third of its health. Togekiss pops its Citrus Berry though, gets all that health and more back, and Ice Beam's gonna rip into it now. It's a crit and super effective, and down goes Togekiss, the first KO of the battle here. And Gemini goes down 6-5, but Slowking gets the Trick Room up. and the dimensions have been twisted. I was hoping to see it in the Gen 4 battle, but we get to see him here. Rhyperior comes out for Google Gemini. Here we go. Dragonite gets first with priority. Extreme speed onto Rhyperior. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage, though, as it's not very effective. Slowking gonna rip a Psychic here into Porygon 2. Does about 20% damage, I would say. A decent chunk. Rhyperior gonna hit a Rock Slide. It's gonna hit both of them. Super effective on Dragonite. Does a ton of damage. Both are extremely weak now, and Rhyperior loses some HP from its Life Orb. Thunderbolt comes out here from Porygon 2. Another crit! 2 crits in a row from Porygon 2, but Slowking's leftovers gets it some health back. Here we go. Dragonite goes first again with extreme speed here onto Slowking. Gets the crit and gets the kill. Huge crit there. 3 crits now for Meta. The luck is definitely on their side right now. Rhyperior gonna rip a Rock Slide now, and that should take out both of them. It does! Also, a huge crit there from Dragonite for Gemini's favor as well, because Gemini was about to rip a Surf from Slowking, which surely would have done a ton of damage into Rhyperior. Not to mention Meta was about to rip a Thunderbolt into Rhyperior as well, which would have been not very good. Here we go. Meta is sending in Empoleon, and Gemini is going to send in Abomasnow, one of their shinies. Meta is also going to send in Garchomp, who is still asleep, one of their shinies as well. And Snow is whipped up. Here we go. Rhyperior is going to use Earthquake to start the turn. And the Shuca Berry from Empoleon is going to weaken the power of this Earthquake onto it. It's still super effective. Does a good amount of damage. Decent amount of damage to Abomasnow. And it gets a crit on the Garchomp. And it one-shots Garchomp. Are you kidding me? Down goes Garchomp. Garchomp did nothing in this entire battle. Being the second overall pick of the draft. And Blizzard, 100% accuracy in the snow. Not very effective. Does no damage there to Empoleon. Will it get the freeze, though? It gets the freeze! And Empoleon thaws out immediately! And hits the Hydro Pump! And down goes Rhyperior! Are you kidding me? Wow! The luck has never been crazier! Meta is the luckiest program ever! Here we go. Gemini is sending in Shiny Exeggutor. And Meta will be sending in Hitmontop. So another Intimidate should come out here. So Exeggutor and Abomasnow's attack do go down one stage. Here we go to start the turn. Exeggutor is going to use a Psychic here on Empoleon. Not very effective, but it does get the kill. Gemini takes the lead down the battle with 3 Pokemon to Meta's 2 as Empoleon goes down here. Next up, Abomasnow's going to rip a Blizzard into Hitmontop. Let's see. Can he do a lot of damage? It's a ton of damage. The Nevermelt Ice is really helping, but the Citrus pops for Hitmontop, and Hitmontop wakes up, and it's going to get a close combat off here onto Abomasnow. It's super effective, and it gets the kill! Are you kidding me? Meta could not get any more lucky in this battle. This is the most amount of luck I have ever seen in my entire life in any battle ever. Wow. And Hail is going to hurt Exeggutor here. And also is going to hurt Hitmontop. And with only 1 Pokemon left to send out, Meta is forced to send in Rotom. Same with Gemini's forced to send in Smeargle once again here. Here we go. Gemini's going to start with a Fake Out from Smeargle, but chose to use it on Rotom, and Rotom's a Ghost type, so it does not affect it. And Meta also blunders with a Fake Out. It's not Hitmontop's first turn. It cannot use it. Thunderbolt on the Smeargle gets the kill. Huge kill from Meta, and now it's a 2v1. But can Exeggutor get the kill here with a Psychic? Hitmontop's special defense is lowered one stage, and down it goes. We are down to a 1v1 here between Meta and Gemini. And the Hail is going to fall, and it's going to buff Rotom, and it's going to buff Exeggutor here. Rotom's going to heal with leftovers, though. Here we go. Meta's starting off here. Rotom's going to rip a Shadow Ball here into Exeggutor. It is super effective. Does a ton of damage. And Exeggutor has to rip a Psychic because it is locked in with Choice Specs. But it gets the kill! Oh my god! Down goes Rotom, and down goes Meta. Google Gemini is moving on to round number 2, moving on to the semifinals. And Gemini's made it further than ChatGPT already. Wow. After another intense battle going down to the wire, Google Gemini barely pulls away with one Pokemon remaining to take down Meta AI. And Google Gemini has already made it further than its biggest threat, ChatGPT. Let's move on to matchup number 4 between Snapchat and Quen to decide who will be facing Google Gemini in the semifinal. We have our final battle of round 1 here in the Sunny Park Coliseum. We got Snapchat, who's probably the biggest underdog of the tournament, up against Quen here. Here are their leads for the battle. Tyranitar Sandstream whips up a Sandstorm, and Arcanine's Intimidate's going to affect Tyranitar and Jolteon here. Here we go. Turn number 1, Crobat is going to use Tailwind, so Quen's side is going to be faster for the next 5 turns, I believe. Jolteon's gonna rip a Thunderbolt here into Arcanine. Does a ton of damage, but Arcanine gonna pop its Citrus Berry and restore a bunch of health back. Jolteon loses some HP from its Life Orb. Here comes a Flare Blitz from Arcanine. Not very effective in the T-Tar. Still does a good amount of damage, though. Arcanine loses some HP here from Recoil. Snapchat's gonna rock a Stone Edge from T-Tar. He gets a crit on the Crobat and gets the kill! Right off rip. No, a Focus Sash saves Crobat. But down it goes to the Sandstorm. Wow. Crazy turn number 1 here. And Arcanine loses some health too. And Snapchat takes the lead 6-5. Off rip. Quen is throwing in their round 1 pick, Metagross. Here we go. Quen's going to start with an Extreme Speed from Arcanine, which gets a crit and gets the kill on the Jolteon. Huge crit there from Quen, and down goes Jolteon. We're all tied up at 5 here now. Metagross going to rock an Earthquake, though. It's going to rip both T-Tar and Arcanine and takes down Arcanine, but does not take down T-Tar. So now Snapchat back in the lead. 5-4 now as Arcanine goes down and Tyranitar's locked in the Stone Edge because of a Choice Band. Not very effective on Metagross. Does a decent amount of damage though. Here we go. Quen is going to send in Flygon here, one of their shinies. And then we're going to see Snapchat bring in Breloom. Here we go. Quen starting off this turn protecting with Flygon, expecting the Spore from Breloom. And here we're going to see Metagross rip an Earthquake. It is not going to hit Flygon, though, as it protects itself. And here comes the Earthquake from Metagross. It's going to take down Tyranitar and do barely any damage to Breloom. So down goes Snapchat's first round pick, the Pseudo from Johto. And here comes Breloom with the Spore. And it's actually on the Metagross, not Flygon. So Metagross is now asleep and the Tailwind is gone. Sandstorm still rages and Breloom loses some health from the Sandstorm, but is now poisoned by the Toxic Orb. Snapchat has decided to bring in the big boy, Snorlax. Here we go. Quen starting it off by swapping out Metagross here, and they are going to send in Starmie to replace. So Starmie comes out. Flygon going for a second Protect in a row, and it's going to fail. Breloom uses C-Bomb on Metagross, but now that Starmie's out here, it's super effective, and it gets the kill! Huge big brain play by the biggest underdog in the tournament. Here comes the Body Slam from Snorlax. Can it get the para? It does a great amount of damage there. Can it get the para, though? Let's see. No para. Sandstorm is going to affect Breloom here. It is also going to affect Snorlax as well. Breloom going to restore some HP, though, with its Poison Heal, and Snorlax restoring HP with leftovers. Quen is going to send in Vaporeon now. Here comes Quen. Flygon's going to rip an Earthquake here onto everybody. Breloom, Vaporeon does a good amount of damage to Vaporeon there, and Snorlax. A good chunk there to Snorlax as well. Breloom's going to use a C-Bomb here on the Vaporeon. It's a crit, and down goes Vaporeon! Snapchat is looking to upset. No way. Here we go now. Snorlax gonna rip another body slam in the Flygon here. Does a lot of damage. Will it get the para? I'm not sure. Let's see. No para. Sandstorm still rages. It's gonna hit Breloom. It's gonna hit Snorlax, but they're gonna recover their health back with Poison Heal and Leftovers. There's Poison Heal from Breloom, and Leftovers comes in here from Snorlax. And with only one Mon remaining, here comes the sleeping Metagross. Here we go. Flygon's going to start this turn off with a Protect here, so no one will be able to attack it. Breloom's going to rock a Seed Bomb here into Metagross. Not very effective. Does a decent amount of damage, though, for being not very effective. Especially Metagross with its high defense. Metagross is fast asleep, and Snorlax is going to miss its Body Slam as Flygon protects itself. Sandstorm still raging, still hurting Breloom, and it's still going to hurt Snorlax here, but as we all know by now, Poison Heal is going to help out Breloom, and Leftovers is going to help out Snorlax here. Here we go. Flygon's going to use another Protect, and it gets it this time. It does not fail. It gets Flygon. Flygon gets Protect twice in a row now. Seed Bomb comes out from Breloom again. Not very effective. Still doing decent damage, though. And next we're going to see if Metagross wakes up. It does not. And Snorlax's Body Slam is not going to hit. Same thing, though. Sandstorm going to hurt Breloom and Snorlax once again. And once again, Breloom's going to heal using Poison Heal. And Snorlax is going to heal using Leftovers. Just free healing for Snapchat. Here we go. Flygon going for a third Protect in a row. And it's going to fail. Breloom gets the Seed Bomb off onto Metagross once again. Still doing a nice chunk of damage. Metagross should wake up this turn, I believe. It does not. It's still fast asleep. And Snorlax is going to get the kill. It's a crit, but it doesn't matter. Down goes Flygon. It's a 3v1. And Snapchat is about to pull off the best underdog story of the entire tournament, as Breloom and Snorlax once again gonna get hurt by Sandstorm. Snorlax gonna recover all of it back with Leftovers. Breloom gonna go over that margin with Poison Heal. And here we go. Here we go. Breloom goes first using Seed Bomb onto Metagross. Does a good amount of damage. We'll see if Snorlax can take it out. Metagross will wake this turn. No, it won't. Wait, is Sleep 5 turns in Gen 4? I did not know this. Body Slam comes out, and it gets the kill. And Snapchat has pulled off the most miraculous underdog story, and it is moving on to the semifinals with 3 Pokemon remaining. This was an absolute insanely overpowered win. Wow! What a win. And after what some would say is the biggest upset of the tournament so far, I would say it was the biggest slaughter of the tournament, as Snapchat moves on with 4 Pokemon remaining to absolutely annihilate Quen in the first round. Now in the semifinals, we have DeepSeek versus Grok and Gemini versus Snapchat. Let's move on to matchup number 1 of the semis to see if DeepSeek or Grok can punch their ticket to the grand finals of the Ultimate AI Pokemon Tournament. Here we are with our first semifinals matchup here at the Courtyard Coliseum. We got DeepSeek, we got Grok. Let's see who they throw out to begin this battle. We got Gengar and Milotic from DeepSeek, and Salamence and Weavile from Grok. Intimidate comes out from Salamence, and Weavile's exerting its pressure. And here we go. Elon Musk starting off with a fake out. I guess he's not the smartest man in the world, because Gengar's a ghost type. Gengar gonna rock an Icy Wind, which is gonna hit both opponents. 4 times effective on Salamence. Does a decent amount to Weavile as well. Both will have their speed drop 1 stage from the Icy Wind though. And here comes Salamence, gonna rock an Earthquake, but not gonna affect Gengar because of its Levitate ability. So here comes Earthquake from Salamence onto Weavile, and Milotic does a ton to Weavile. A horrific turn number 1 so far from Grok. Let's see, Milotic rocking an Ice Beam into the Salamence, and the number 1 overall pick of the entire draft is gonna go down in turn number 1 here. Wow. Milotic regains some HP here. Grok is wasting no time bringing in Lucario here. Here we go, Grok going first here with an extreme speed from Lucario. He gets a crit! Ton of damage there to Milotic. Let's see now, Weavile also getting priority here with Ice Shard on a Milotic. That's not very effective, and Milotic survives with barely a sliver of damage. Gengar gonna hit a Shadow Ball here on to Lucario. It's not very effective, but does a ton of damage. Milotic rocking Ice Beam here onto Weavile. Also not very effective. Can it get a freeze though? Let's see here. It doesn't. Milotic gets some health back, however. Here we go to start off turn number 3. Lucario extreme speeding once again, and that's gonna do it for Milotic for the battle. Deep Seek unable to get a recover off here because Milotic can't get past the priority moves from Grok. Grok's actually sending in another priority move that's supposed to hit Milotic, but now it will go into Gengar and get a crit! Does a ton of damage there, and Gengar gonna retaliate with a Shadow Ball on the Weavile, which will knock out Weavile. Deep Seek back in the lead now, 5-4 as Weavile goes down here. Here we go, Grok is gonna send in Blaziken in for Weavile here. And Deep Seek's gonna chuck on in Magnezone. Here we go. Grok using its big brain here and using another normal move on Gengar. Gengar gonna use a Shadow Ball here onto Blaziken. Does a ton of damage here. Blaziken, though, gonna be able to get off a Flare Blast. It's gonna be super effective onto Magnezone. Gets the kill! Huge kill from Grok. But Blaziken goes down to the recoil. Oh no! A ton of recoil damage. I did not think it was going to do that much back at it. Wow! Here we go. Grok is sending in Blah! And then Deep Seek sending in Azumarill. We didn't even get to see Azumarill last battle. Here we go. Azumarill going first with priority. Aqua Jet here onto Lucario. Does a decent amount of damage. Can't KO it though. Gengar going to get off an Icy Wind. Huge play here. It's going to do a little bit of damage to both, not a ton, but it will lower the speed of Lucario and Heracross here. And now we're going to see Lucario, my bad, going for a Shadow Claw here onto Gengar. Going to most certainly get the kill here. But Gengar has done a ton of damage this battle. Huge battle from Gengar here today. Heracross gonna end the turn here with a Mega Horn. Let's see how much damage it does. It does a ton of damage. Wow. Azumarill does get HP back with its Citrus. And Heracross has activated its Toxic Orb, which is gonna activate Guts as well. Deep Seek is bringing in the Tangrowth. Here we go to start the turn. Lucario is gonna rock an extreme speed on Azumarill, do a good chunk of damage here. But as we're going to see here, Azumarill is going to take out Lucario with an Aqua Jet. So down goes Lucario. And Grok is down to their final 2 Pokemon now. Heracross is going to rock a close combat. Guts is activated now. Let's see if this can KO. And it does! Heracross will lose a stage in its defense and special defense, however, because of that. So we're going to see Azumarill go down here. And it faints. Tangrowth is going to use Knockoff now. It's going to use it on Lucario, but now it's forced to use it on Heracross. Not very effective. I don't think it's even going to knock off the Toxic Orb. No, it does. But still poison anyway, so. Down to their last Pokemon. They're forced to send in Electivire here. And then also Grok forced to send in Swampert as the last Pokemon as well. Here we go. Deep Seek moves first here with Electivire. Here comes a Thunder Punch from Electivire onto Heracross. Heracross -1 defense. It gets the kill! Huge kill from Deep Seek here. Wow! Swampert's gonna go next though with an Earthquake. This is gonna do a lot of damage to Electivire, and it almost gets the kill. Electivire barely hangs on, and Tangrowth is gonna hit the Sleep Powder. Wow! What a turn from Deep Seek! Here we go. Electivire's gonna go first here. Get an Ice Punch onto Swampert. Let's see. This does neutral damage. Doesn't do a whole lot, but a decent sliver of health. This could be huge, though. Swampert stays asleep this turn. A Power Whip comes up from Tangrowth, 4 times effective, and Deep Seek is going to the Grand Finals. Wow! What a battle. Absolute cinema. And Elon Musk is probably furious as Deep Seek is moving on. Grok is eliminated. GG's. Another incredible battle in the tournament. They say the smartest man in the world invented Grok, but that doesn't mean it's the best AI program when it comes to Pokemon battling. Deep Seek punches their ticket to the grand final. Back-to-back battles for them with 2 Pokemon remaining, and now we will have to see who they will be facing in the grand finals. Let's move on to our second semifinals matchup between Google Gemini and Snapchat. Here we are with the second and final semifinals matchup. We got Gemini versus Snapchat. Who will punch their ticket to the grand final? Let's see. We got Togekiss and Smeargle from Gemini and Tyranitar and Jolteon from Snapchat. Here we go to start it off. Gemini gonna protect here with Togekiss. Togekiss cannot be hit this turn now. Smeargle gonna get a priority fake out onto Jolteon here. Jolteon will no longer be able to Thunderbolt. Togekiss wouldn't have been able to anyway though, because Togekiss did protect. Tyranitar gonna hit Smeargle with a crunch here. Let's see how much this does. It does a ton. It one-shots it! No, it doesn't! Smeargle's Focus S keeps it alive! And the Sandstorm is gonna buff Jolteon and Smeargle and take out Smeargle anyway! And down it goes. No Dark Voids today. No nothing from Smeargle. And it hits Togekiss as well. Here we go. Gemini is gonna send in Slowking here. Here we go to start the turn. Togekiss gonna use Follow Me. So now Snapchat will only be able to target Togekiss this turn. Doesn't matter though. Jolteon was already planning on it with the Thunderbolt. It does a ton of damage. Doesn't get the kill though. Let's see here. Togekiss restores some HP here with its Citrus Berry. Jolteon loses some HP from its Life Orb. T-Tar was going to crunch on the Slowking, but it's going to crunch on the Togekiss now. Will this get the kill? It does! Down goes Togekiss. Snapchat takes a huge 6-4 lead already. An underdog story in the making. But what should have never been an underdog story in the first place. Slowking gets Trick Room up. And the Sandstorm is going to buff not only Slowking, but Jolteon as well. Slowking restores some HP with leftovers, though. Here comes the behemoth himself, Rhyperior. Here we go with the dimensions distorted. Slowking's going to move first this turn. Going to get a Surf off here that's going to hit everybody. Super effective on these two, though. Let's see. Does a ton of damage to Rhyperior and not nearly as much to Tyranitar there. Does a really good amount of damage there to Jolteon, however. And Earthquake should be able to clean up here. It's going to do some damage to Slowking, but it's going to KO Tyranitar. Huge KO there. And if I'm correct, it should KO Jolteon as well. We'll see right here. Let's see. And it gets the KO. A double KO for Gemini this turn. A huge gamble using spread moves on both Pokemon. But it pays off and Rhyperior loses some health with leftovers. Sandstorm's gonna buff Slowking here though. Slowking's gonna get its health back, however. Here we go. Snapchat gonna send in Breloom first here. And they're also sending in the big boy, Snorlax. Here we go. Slowking going first here. Gonna hit a Psychic on the Breloom. Super effective. Gets the kill! Wow, didn't even last a single move in its first turn out there. Unreal. Rhyperior gets the Earthquake off, hits both of, and one-shot Snorlax and kills Slowking as well. Everyone's dying on this turn. Will Rhyperior go down as well from the Life Orb? I mean, Slowking and Breloom didn't even last 2 moves, and Rhyperior still standing. Here we go. Gemini is going to send in Abomasnow. And then we're gonna see Snapchat here sending in their last 2 Pokemon. One being Porygon Z, the other being their only shiny, Gardevoir. Here we go, Rhyperior's gonna go first and use Rock Slide. It's gonna miss Porygon Z, however, so it is only gonna hit Gardevoir here. Let's see how much damage this does with its Life Orb. A ton of damage there. Now we're going to see Rhyperior go down to its Life Orb, but might just be the MVP of the battle. Absolutely put in the most work we might have seen by any Pokemon yet in the tournament in a single battle. Blizzard comes out here from Abomasnow. It's going to hit both opponents. It's going to KO Gardevoir and bring Porygon Z into little health range. Down goes Gardevoir here, majestically fainting back into the ball, and Porygon Z is going to end the turn with a tri-attack, one of my favorite moves of all time, into Abomasnow and gets the kill! Wait, we still have a ball game here. Surprisingly, down goes Abomasnow here, back to the ball, and it's still snowing, and Porygon Z is going to get hurt by the hail. And now we're left in a 1v1 here. Here comes Exeggutor. And it looks like Trick Room might have just won Gemini the game, as Psychic is going to take down Porygon Z, and Snapchat's underdog story comes to a brutal finish. But what a try from Snapchat, proving everyone, especially me, wrong. GG's, everybody. Congratulations, Gemini. They have made the grand finals. Snapchat got the early lead in this one, and then Gemini started slaughtering them. But it still came down to the final 2 Pokemon, in which Gemini edged out Snapchat, moving on to the grand finals in quite an underdog story. 1-4 on the channel before this tournament. Now they're in the grand finals against another underdog story, the newcomer DeepSeek. I'm sure a lot of people don't even know what DeepSeek AI is, but here they are in the grand finals, and now it's time to decide who is the ultimate AI program when it comes to Pokemon battling. Let's move on to the grand finals between DeepSeek and Google Gemini. Here we are in the grand finals of the Ultimate AI Pokemon Tournament. We've got 2 great storylines here. The newcomer DeepSeek up against Gemini, looking for redemption on the channel. They are going to lead here with Gengar, Magnezone, Smeargle, Togekiss. Here we go, turn number 1. First fake out we've seen in a while, not on a ghost type. Smeargle's going to fake out Magnezone. Magnezone's not going to be able to move on this turn. Gengar's going to rock an Icy Wind here into both opponents, Smeargle and Togekiss. It's a crit on the Togekiss and super effective, but still only does about half damage. So Smeargle and Togekiss speed are going to drop 1 stage each. Next up, we're going to see Magnezone flinch, and then Togekiss can use Air Slash, but it is going to miss on Gengar. Wow! Here we go. To start the turn, Gemini is going to swap out Smeargle here, and is going to send in Slowking. Next up, we're going to see Togekiss use a prioritized Follow Me. Now, DeepSeek can only attack Togekiss, but they were already planning on it anyway. Gengar, however, the Shadow Ball doesn't even affect Togekiss. And the Thunderbolt comes out from Magnezone and gets the kill. It doesn't matter about Shadow Ball missing there, or not affecting it, perhaps. Togekiss back to Gemini. Here comes Gemini sending in Rhyperior. Here we go. Gemini starting the turn by protecting Rhyperior. Now this could be huge if Slowking is able to survive this turn. Gengar gonna Shadow Ball here on the Slowking. Can Slowking survive? It does. That's huge. Special defense goes down, but that's okay. Slowking has 1 job in this turn. And Flash Cannon is not going to hit Rhyperior as Rhyperior protects itself. And this is Slowking's job this turn, is to get Trick Room up, and it does. Slowking also restores HP with leftovers. Here we go. Slowking's going to go first here with a Surf. A bold move here as it is going to hit Rhyperior. Lands on Magnezone, but one-shots Rhyperior. Oh, no! Gemini has blundered. Oh, why would you do that? No! It's gonna hit Gengar as well. Gengar's specially defensive though, not gonna do a whole ton. Magnezone gonna rip a Flash Cannon now into Slowking. Not very effective, does a good amount of damage though. Special defense falls again, and Gengar is gonna be able to clean up here with a Shadow Ball, and a huge, horrible turn for Gemini as DeepSeek takes a huge lead here. Here we go, Gemini's gonna send in Abomasnow first here. And Gemini's also going to pair it up with Exeggutor as well. 2 shinies for him. Snow's still falling. Here we go now. Exeggutor going to start this turn using a Psychic onto Gengar. Super effective. Gets the kill. Gemini crawling back in this one as down goes Gengar. DeepSeek loses him on there. Abomasnow going to rock a Blizzard 100% in the snow here. On to Magnezone. Not going to do a lot of damage. Oh, actually, it doesn't do a bad amount of damage for being not very effective. Flash Cannon comes out, though, from Magnezone. Super effective. Almost gets the kill. That would have been huge. Snow still falling. It's going to buff Exeggutor here, as well as buff Magnezone here as well. DeepSeek has opted to send in a Azumarill, the golden boy. Here we go to start it off. DeepSeek gonna use Aqua Jet with the Azumarill, gets priority even in Trick Room, and it gets the kill. Huge kill there from DeepSeek, inching closer to the being crowned victorious of the tournament. Exeggutor locked in the Psychic because of its focus, or Choice Scarf, I believe. Choice Scarf. But it is going to take down Magnezone. That's big for Gemini here. Down goes Magnezone. Snow continues to fall. Or hail. My bad. Hurts Exeggutor. Also is going to hurt Azumarill here. Here we go. Gemini sending in their last Pokemon, which is Smeargle. And then DeepSeek sending in Tangrowth. Here we go, DeepSeek going first. Azumarill using another prioritized Aqua Jet, this time onto Smeargle. Gonna do a ton of damage, but Smeargle lives. Tangrowth gonna get off the sleep powder though, onto Exeggutor here. Exeggutor is put to sleep, and it is not gonna wake up. Smeargle's gonna use Dark Void though. It's gonna hit both of them. So both Azumarill and Tangrowth are gonna get put to sleep from the Dark Void. The hail continues to fall. It's gonna hit Tangrowth. Who else is it gonna hit? It's gonna hit Exeggutor. Who else is it gonna hit? It's gonna hit Azumarill. Is it gonna hit Smeargle too? It will hit Smeargle. Barely hangs on. Here we go. DeepSeek moving first. Azumarill won't wake up though. Smeargle, first sheer cold, is gonna miss on the Tangrowth. Exeggutor still asleep. Tangrowth still asleep. Hail's gonna fall and hurt everyone in the field. Will Smeargle hang on? No! And just like that, I think it might be all over. Hail is going to hurt Azumarill here. Next, it's going to hurt Exeggutor here. Next, it's going to hurt Tangrowth here. Now it's just a waiting game. Who wakes up first? Exeggutor wakes up first. That's huge for Gemini. Can it get the kill on the Tangrowth? It does! The comeback begins now. Down goes Tangrowth. Is the hail still gonna be falling though? It is. It's gonna affect both Pokemon here. It's gonna do some damage here to Azumarill first, and then Exeggutor right after. DeepSeek has decided to bring in Electivire here. Here we go. Azumarill cannot wake up here. Electivire's gonna get off an Ice Punch. Let's see how much damage it does. Can DeepSeek win it all here? No! Exeggutor barely hangs on. Exeggutor's gonna rip a Psychic now into Electivire, and it can't kill! Oh no! And no matter what Gemini does, it is all over. Electivire KO'd here from the hail. Down it goes. But did Ice Punch do enough damage here? Hail is gonna hurt Azumarill. Will the hail KO Exeggutor? It does! And DeepSeek, in their first appearance on the channel, takes down ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, and proves to be the best AI program when it comes to Pokemon battling. Congratulations, DeepSeek! That was an absolutely amazing battle we just saw. Google Gemini tried their hardest to prove all the haters wrong. They've been hated in the comments for all the past videos we've done. Some people even suggesting me to change them as the opponent for ChatGPT. But unfortunately, Gemini will always be the greatest AI program when it comes to getting our hopes up, as DeepSeek is your grand finals champion, and they are crowned the ultimate AI program when it comes to Pokemon battling. Congratulations to DeepSeek. Thank you for tuning in to today's video. The next video, we will be doing the same thing between 6 different AI programs, some newcomers, some that we saw in today's tournament, and they will only be drafting legendary Pokemon. So if you want to see that video, make sure to subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. It's completely free, and you can change your mind later. I'm also live Monday through Thursday every week on Twitch, so make sure to click that link below and hit me with the follow if you want to tune into those streams where I do all kinds of different Pokemon challenges. Make sure to also click the Discord link in the description if you want to join the Discord. We're trying to grow our community right now. We also have a completely free Cobblemon server to join, so if that interests you, definitely make sure to go join the Discord. Link is in the description. And I hope you all have a beautiful day. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.